Hi, all, once again. I hope you all having a good day. Welcome to this week's webinar. And today we're going to see how you can seamlessly migrate from third party email service to Zoho Mail, which is also a part of Zoho One. I'm Chai. I work as a customer marketer at Zoho One, and we also have Priyanka with us, who will explain on what Zoho Mail is, the use cases, and how you can migrate seamlessly from third party to Zoho Mail. Priyanka works as a product expert at Zoho Mail. Today's agenda is going to be, first we're going to see what Zoho One is, and then why Zoho Mail, their offerings, how you can migrate, a few demos on migration, a few success stories, and we will see one of the most important things that is available in Zoho Mail, which is the coexistence setup. We will also have a look at that, and then we'll end the session with Q&A. So before we move on with the session, I'd like to give a brief introduction on what Zoho One is. We call Zoho One the operating system for business. We launched Zoho One in 2017 with 30 plus applications across 8 different departments. Currently, we have expanded to over 50 plus applications across 12 different departments. And as the picture showed, we've started building our application one by one, and then we built tight integration among them. Even though we built tight integration, there were still some gaps left between our application. And that is when we started moving from the integration approach towards a more unified approach. To make Zoho One a unified solution, first we had to unify our infrastructure. So we built our own data centers, we have our own servers, we also have our own storage capacities and hardwares. Next, we had to unify our services, that is across available 50 applications, and then we had to unify the look and feel of our application in all platforms, and then the tight integrations among them. Now, with the help of infrastructure and platform, we were able to provide it as a unified experience. We worked on unification on multiple layers, and Zoho One is the result of this unification process. Let's have a brief look at each of these layers. First up, we have unified platforms. Zoho One has over 7 applications that will help you build tailored end-to-end custom solution for your business needs, ranging from no-code apps to pro-code applications. Beyond that, we have over 1,000 plus third-party integrations that is available within Zoho One, and you can find them at marketplace.zoho.com. Next up, we have unified services. There are 2 kinds of services. First kind is artificial intelligence, and the next is business intelligence. For AI, we have Zia. With Zia, you can now ask about a particular lead or a particular deal or any support ticket or even your last week's sales, and Zia will help you with all of this. And for business analytics, we have Zoho Analytics, which will help you create an all-in-one dashboard like this. As you can see, we have widgets from multiple departments. We also have Zoho Click, which will help you continue your collaboration communication irrespective of which Zoho application you're using. So as you can see, the user is in Zoho Mail, but the collaboration communication is still happening through Zoho Click. And we also have Zoho OneNote, which is a MFA single sign-on application, which is also a part of Zoho One. You can have a single sign-on for all your 50 applications plus your third-party applications as well. And this is powered by Zoho Directory. Zoho Directory is nothing but our identity access management tool, which also functions as the admin panel of Zoho One. Next up, we have unified applications. As I said, we have over 50 applications and they all work in harmony at any given point of time. Together with the platform and services and application, we were able to provide it as a unified experience with our unified dashboards, with widgets that span across your business, with unified configurations. And to configure all this, you need an admin panel, right? We also unified our admin panel, which is nothing but the Zoho directory, where you'll be able to manage your users, your gadgets, your employees, the printers, Wi-Fi, and everything. With that, I'll let Priyanka shed some light on how you can seamlessly migrate from third-party email services to Zoho Mail. Over to you, Priyanka.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aitanya, for the beautiful presentation. I'm going to discuss why this transition is the need of the hour. So we understood from the topic, we are here to discuss how you can migrate, how you can switch to Zoho Mail, right? But you may have some doubts, you may have this question, why exactly this transition is important? If I'm making the switch, is there any advantage? Is there any merits for this? So to answer these questions, I'm going to show you some reasons and some factors which will really help you to choose that this is the best solution for you. Let me just get to that. First, privacy. You can trust Zoho on that because privacy is our first commitment. Let it be any top providers in the market, they are ad-driven companies, and I would say their business model entirely relies on user data. But when it comes to Zoho, Zoho has been away from ad business for more than 26 years now. And when you choose Zoho, you're not just choosing another email provider, but you're choosing a partner who respects your privacy. And here, as you can see, other providers would monetize in different ways, whereas Zoho does not monetize your data at any point of time. We do understand your data is just yours and we will never use it for unintended purposes. Second, enterprise-grade security. Do we cut corners on security? Definitely not. Any organization, any business you may take, the security is quite important for them. Their organization data must be kept secure, isn't it? In that case, we are very, very conscious and we have numerous security aspects to make sure your organization data is safe. And we also adhere to data privacy and security standards. And as you can see on the screen, all of these standards are not just implemented in the respective region, but across the globe. Even before these standards were brought into the picture, we made sure that none of the customer data was used for any other purposes than intended. Then goes our certificates. We have received numerous certificates for our spam and malware detection, and we've been recognized by Forbes as one of the best email hosting services. Now, this shows how reliable we are. Now goes the third point, seamless integration with Zoho One. So if you're using a different provider, let's say for email hosting, those applications will be in isolation because it is not part of this particular ecosystem that you use. Whereas when you use Zoho Mail, which is a part of Zoho One already, you're using the particular application which is natively integrated in the bundle itself. So as you know, Zoho One is the operating system and it has all the application including your mail application. So this mail application seamlessly integrates with your collaborative tools, analytics, CRM, and more. So this truly becomes your workspace, a unified workspace for you. And then we have the next point. Yeah, I'd like to show you an example of how this integration actually works. Okay, let's see an example now. So a customer is reaching out to me saying that, hello there, it appears there is something more complex at work here. What number can I call in 30 minutes so I can reach out to you for an issue? So this is just a blunt email. I really don't know what issue is going on at the other end. I might need more context to this. What will I do is, I'm going to check out my ticketing tool. Okay, see if there is any ticket that has been raised by this customer, reporting any issue, so I can get the context and reply appropriately. So let's see how the integration works. So I suppose you may have explored Zoho Mail. If you have, you would have seen the widget on the right side where you'd be able to see the integrations available, which you can choose, as you can see on the screen. You can click on the desk application, all right? Just within your inbox, you get to click on desk application, see if there's any ticket created by this particular email ID, and you can see the context just like that. So by doing this, you don't have to switch between application at all, but rather you can work across applications by being in one platform itself. Now, this is a classic example of how the integrations work, and just like this, every other application that is available, that is syncing well, that is integrating well with Zoho Mail, you'll be able to easily work across those applications. Next goes the cost advantage. Let's be real. When we choose a solution, when we choose a product, definitely we are concerned about how much is it going to cost me, isn't it? And I'm going to promise you this is the most affordable solution that you can find. And we don't just we don't give you just modules on each of these fields, but rather we give you products which are best and it directly competes with what is best in the market. And when we talk about the cost cut, as you can see, a live example. These are words spoken by our customers saying that when they switched to Zoho Mail, they were able to see about a 60% cost cut. I'm sure we're able to understand the magnitude of advantage this leaves us with, isn't it? And even with edition specifically, when you see, you will have to pay 200% more to 66% more, 500% more when you choose these editions compared to our editions. And whatever is available at their end, it is given to you at a fraction of a cost itself. So it is affordable, but do we cut corners on features? Definitely not. We are giving you enterprise grade features. And as you can see on the screen, starting from SMIME encryption, advanced admin console, to your shared mailbox, flexible storage and developer APIs, we give you all of that with the edition that we are providing for you, which is just a fraction of the cost that you may be giving for the previous provider. And finally, the global trust. You don't have to rely on just our words, but you can see the live example on the screen. So who are all the major players in the market are already trusting us and have already subscribed to our products, especially to Zoho Mail as well. So as you can see here, it has spanned across industries, starting from financial institutions, government bodies, multinational companies. So this is a classic example of the reliability of the product itself. Now, how do you switch? I'm sure we will again have doubts. Okay, the product seems really good and I'm really inspired by the product. Now I want to switch. But if I have to switch, is there going to be a lot of steps? Is it quite complex? Will there be any data loss? Don't worry. I can understand that these questions are quite valid. But I'm going to let you know how the switch is done without breaking a sweat. For that, we need to understand there is a concept called migration. I'm sure most of us know what migration is, but let's just put it as simple words. Migration is where when you switch to a different provider, we don't want you to start anew. We want you to continue your business in the new solution. For that to be achieved, we have to bring your data from the previous provider to the new provider, isn't it? And how do we achieve that? That's where migration comes in. Okay, here using migration, you can transfer your data from a different provider to the new provider. Okay, it is a very simple process, and to achieve this, we have three different methods in our hand. Okay, first method is app-specific migration. Second method is IMAP or POP migration. Third is Exchange Migration Wizard. Now, these three are the methods that we have in our hand in order for us to perform migration for your organization. Okay, now when we talk about methods again, we may again find a little bit doubts, such as when do I go with what method and what is the specification of these methods? Let me get to that. When we talk about the first method, the app-specific migration, which is also called as a one-click migration, this particular method is exclusive for Google Workspace and Microsoft. Okay, if you are using those providers, then this particular method of migration will be really useful for you. And especially if you have high volume of users, this is the right method. Also, data specific. If you want to migrate mail, calendar, and or contacts, then you have to choose the first method of migration or first method of migration only. Then goes the prerequisites. I want you guys to be fully aware of what you need in your hand if you're going to perform migration using the first method of migration. You will need the admin credential. Please note the first method will only require admin credential. Okay, you will require the Zoho admin credential, also the existing provider's admin credential. All right, and then the DNS access of your domain and the data to migrate. Okay, so these are the details and data that you require in order for you to perform the first method of migration. Shall we see the steps now? In order for you to migrate from Google Workspace, all that you have to do is you have to authenticate your Google Workspace account in Zoho Mail. Then you can select the data you want to migrate, which can range from email, contacts, and calendar. And then you have to import your users, or you can add your users, map your users as well. Start the migration. You can check the migration reports for any failures. And this is the methodology, or these are the steps you have to follow in order for you to migrate from Google Workspace. Whereas for Microsoft, you have to grant a particular role which says application impersonation role. Okay, this is the role which is quite important, which will give the authority for the admin to have access to the users' mailboxes. Okay, so you have to grant this particular role which says application impersonation to one of the admins that you have in the Microsoft. Then you have to authenticate your Microsoft account, which is the admin account, right? In Zoho Mail. Select the data you want to migrate. Import the user. And lastly, you can start the migration. Here as well, you can check the reports for any failures. I'm not going to demonstrate this particular migration, but I will be demonstrating the second method of migration. Don't worry, since this is a little bit long process compared to the second method, I'm going to ask my colleague to drop the webinar link in the chat box for you to see the step-by-step procedure of how you can perform the first method of migration. Vignesh, please drop the webinar links in the chat box. Now, moving on, we have the second method of migration. I'll be demonstrating how the second method of migration can be performed. Okay, when it comes to the specification of second method of migration, here, this is not exclusive to any provider. Okay, this lets you to migrate from any provider there is. And here, the nitty-gritties are, if you have less volume of user, you may as well can go for the second method of migration. Data specific, if you want to only migrate mail alone, then again, you can go for mail. Go for IMAP or POP migration. Okay, this method cannot migrate contacts and calendar. This can only migrate mail. Okay, now you have the prerequisites for the second method. The major difference between the first method and the second method is, first method will only require you to have the admin credential, whereas the second method will require you to have the credential of every user you wish to migrate. Okay, please make a note of this. This is the major difference between the first method and the second method. All right. Now, what do you need to do to perform the second method of migration? You have to have this Zoho's admin account credential, the DNS access, a CSV file with the user data, a CSV file with the user credentials, and the folders and emails to migrate. Now, you must have all of these data in order for you to do the second method of migration. Okay, and let's see the steps. So when we talk about the steps, you have to enter the server details of the source server, select the data you want to migrate, import the user, or you can manually add the user, start the migration, you can check for reports. Okay, so these are the steps. I'm going to perform these steps and show it to you as to how it works. Okay, now this is the Zoho Mail platform, and from here is where you will navigate to the admin console. Okay, for you to navigate to the admin console, what you need to do is click on the avatar and choose admin console. Okay, and here you'll be able to see data migration on the left pane. Click on that, and then you can choose create. Okay, so when you create migration, when you configure migration, first you have to give a name for the migration. So let's just name it as IMAP migration for now. And then in the select saved server details, can you see there is a list of saved server details, right? So this means that when you configure migration, it will be saved. The configuration details will be saved. So this means that every time you perform migration, let's say you're performing batch-wise migration, okay, you don't have to configure, you don't have to give in the details from the scratch every time, but rather when you give it, it will be saved and you can easily fetch those details and you can continue from there. So since we're doing it new, let's just go with add new server details. And here you have select protocol or application, right? So here in the protocol or application, you have methods. So this is exactly where you choose the method that you want to migrate. Okay. So here you have IMAP, and here in the source server address, I'm going to give the address of Microsoft. Let me just give that. Okay, and then choose add. In the settings page, okay, the name of the settings is auto-populated. The folders to migrate, I can choose all folders or specific folders. If I choose all folders, I can specify the folders I want to exclude. Okay, or if I choose specific folders, then I can specify the folders I want to migrate. Okay, then we have emails to migrate. Here in the emails, you can choose all emails or emails that were sent and received in a specific date range. Okay, I'm going to choose that. Okay, and then you have enable pop access for the migrated emails, which means if you want to give the migrated emails access to the migrated users, you have to go with yes. Then you have preferred authentication type, which means I told you, you need to have the user credential, whoever you want to migrate, isn't it? But this could be a little bit tedious task, asking them to share the passwords and username with you, and then you manually updating the same. That could actually take a lot of time and efforts. So instead of that, you have another variant available here, which is one-time authentication by each user. Okay, when you choose that, instead of you collecting the passwords and manually updating it here, you can directly let your users authenticate themselves. Okay, you just have to share a link with them. All right, and they'll be able to authenticate themselves. I'll let you know how exactly that is performed, but let's just continue here. I'm going to choose add, and then here in the creation page, you have maximum connection limit. To talk about maximum connection limit, when we give a number here, it exactly means how many users you want to migrate simultaneously. Okay, you cannot specify a very big number because if you do, it may not be aligned with the service capacity. All right, so you have to specify a moderate number here. So let's just go with 5 for now, which means 5 of my users will be migrated simultaneously, which will save a lot of time. Pause the migration when the storage reaches either of the storage limit, 80% or 95%. What does this mean? Is when the migration is taking place, okay, there is a high possibility that the storage gets blown up here in the Zoho Mail platform for various reasons. Okay, in that case, then you have to let the migration pause, isn't it? Where exactly would you like to pause is something you can choose. Okay, then say create. All right, so what have we done here? We have just configured the migration. Now it's time for us to add the users. Okay, let's see how you add. Right. So once you choose users, you get to choose add, and here you can add the user. Let me just quickly add that for you. So what email ID am I typing here? This is the source email ID, which is the Microsoft email ID from where I want the data to be transferred. Okay. Then here I'll be typing the destination email ID. Now destination email ID is the Zoho Mail email ID to where I want the data to be transferred. Okay. Let me just check the email ID once again. Yep. And then you have the priority, which is high and low. If you choose high, let's say I'm migrating 10 different users. For 5 users, I'm giving high priority and 5 different users as low priority. Then whichever users I've given high priority will be migrated first, and the low priority users will be migrated following that. Okay. So let's say add. So once this addition is done, we are done with the configuration. Okay. I told you the user itself have to authenticate themselves, isn't it? So how would they be able to do that is, here you have the authentication type, and there you have the URL or the link available. Okay, click on the link. So let's just assume I'm the user now. Okay, my admin has added my account to the migration, and he or she has shared the link with me. I'm going to use that link to authenticate my account. Okay, so I'm authenticating my Microsoft account first. Right? And then you will have to even give your Zoho account credential. But once you give both the accounts credential here, you'll be able to successfully verify your account. Okay, the authentication will be successful, and then you can start the migration. Okay, when you start the migration, you will be seeing the current status of the migration to be in progress, the number of users you've added, number completed, in progress, and failed. You can abort the migration anytime you want. In the user section as well, you can choose the user and you can see the data-wise migration. Okay, let's just abort this migration for now. All right, I'll show you how a completed migration looks like. Okay, so here we have a completed migration. So the status says that the status is completed. The total number of users configured for migration was 1. Completed was 1. In the user section as well, you can choose the user and you can see the folder-wise migration. Okay, so this is regards with the second method of migration. Let's say the first method. So here we have also conducted the first method of migration. The status remains the same, but when you choose the user, you get to see the data-wise migration. Can you see mail, contacts, and calendar? Right? So I told you the first method of migration allows you to migrate mail, contact, and calendar. Right? So all of that will be available here. All right, we're done with the demo. Let's move back. Now to continue, next we'll be discussing about the third method of migration, right? Which is Exchange Migration Wizard. Okay, this is a tool that you have to download and install. So once you use the tool, this tool allows you to migrate your offline data, be it if it's in the PST format or EML format, you'll be able to move it to cloud. Okay, and to do the same, you need this particular tool, and it requires a set of steps to be done in a way that you have to arrange your data in a folder-wise manner, and you have to update it in the tool accordingly. All right. And then we have the prerequisites that is required. You'll need the admin credential of Zoho again, the CSV file of the user details, and the data to be migrated, the folder details of the user. Okay, so all of this has to be given, or rather you have to have all of this at your end in order for you to migrate using the third method. Okay, now let's go to the FAQs. So we have seen the demonstration, we have seen what steps we need to follow, we have seen the prerequisites that is required for you to complete the migration. But I am sure we will have a hell lot of doubts and questions that we require answers for. Okay, don't worry. I have collected some frequently asked questions when it comes to migration. I'll be discussing those questions with you. Apart from those questions as well, if you have any doubts, you can post them in the Q&A tab. All right, let's do that. Okay, let's go to the first question. Is it possible for the migration accounts to have different domains, or do they need to be the same? No, you can have different domains while the migration happens. Second, how much time will it take to migrate my data? Now, this is a very, very frequently asked question. So when we talk about the timeline, we can never give a defined timeline saying within this time your account or your data will be migrated, because this migration timeline depends on a lot of factors. Let it be the volume of data, the number of users you want to migrate, and the compatibility between the provider, which provider you are migrating from, and the server's bandwidth. So you have so many factors that you have to consider whenever this migration is taking place. All right. Then we have, what is the duration of downtime for migration? There is absolutely no downtime, because this migration happens server to server, okay, at the back end. So your operation will not be interrupted. Then we have, is there any risk of data loss during the migration process? Again, no, because we need to understand that migration is a copy of a message being migrated, not the entire message being moved to a different provider. Okay, only a copy is being migrated. So none of the emails or none of the data can be lost. Then we have, what about Google files such as spreadsheets, presentations, and documents? Can they be migrated? Absolutely, yes. We can migrate your data from different providers as well, which could be a presentation or spreadsheet or a document. Can we upgrade storage for certain users alone if needed? Yes, you can buy additional storage of units, that is additional storage units, and you can allocate it to your user specifically. If the migration stops due to technical issue, should I start the migration process again from the scratch? Definitely not. Okay, if the migration stops due to a technical issue, once the issue is resolved, when you restart or rather resume the migration, all the emails which have already been migrated will not migrate back again. Only those emails which are yet to be migrated will be migrated. Okay, so you don't have to start the migration from the scratch, and the duplication of migration will not happen. if my storage gets full in the middle of the migration, what happens? If your storage gets filled, then you have to delete some of the unwanted emails and you have to resume the migration, or you have to buy a particular subscription which gives you more storage and you have to resume the migration. So these two are the two solutions that comes handy if your storage gets filled. All right. So we're done with the FAQs. I'm sure you may have some doubts apart from this. Feel free to drop them in the Q&A tab and we'll be able to answer all of them for you. Then, yes, here I have a journey snapshot for you to have a look at. Okay, we have migrated a particular customer in the banking sector recently, and I wanted to show you the case study of the same. So initially, when they chose us, they wanted to test the platform. So they created a test account. They tried out our anti-spam settings, the security aspects. They went through our features as well, and they really liked the product. And then is when they made the migration happen. And we carried the migration in 3 different phases. In the first phase, we migrated over 350 users, okay, and they were frontline users of the frontline workers of the particular company. And we migrated all of them in the same day, given the volume. Second was the migration phase 2. Okay, we migrated over 1,500 users. All right, they were all mid-tier employees, and it took about a span of 5 days for us to migrate all of those accounts. And then goes the third phase of migration, where we had about 1,000 plus accounts to be migrated in a span of 3 days. We did that, and those were management sector users. So usually this is how we split and we do the migration for you as well. And once we also have the migration assistance available. If you would like for us to help you with the migration, we'll be more than happy to do that for you. And as you can see, a classic example on the screen, this is how exactly a migration was taking place or migration was conducted for a particular customer. And who doesn't love a positive testimonial? Here are some of the positive testimonials. I wanted to bring it to your eyes and let you see this as well. I'll just give you some time, give it a read for these testimonials, and while you read that, I'll just share some important information. So I suppose some of you are asking the recording of this session. Don't worry, we will be sharing the recording of this session via email to your registered email ID. Okay, and apart from that, if you are wondering if at all you can reach out to us at any point of time while the migration is going on, or when you're configuring for migration, you can reach out to us. We are available 24/7, and you can reach out to us support or help desk that is available. Okay, I will be sharing you the help desk and who should you contact for migration assistance, etc. at the end of the session. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next slide. Yes. This is also a very important question. Would you like to try the product first? Because I totally get it, because when you're making an entire switch, definitely we would want to give it a try, see if it's working for us, and then make the switch, right? Yes, wise choice. For this, we have a concept, that is coexistence. Coexistence works in a way where 2 different providers will parallelly work for the same company or same domain. Okay, that's exactly how coexistence is going to work. Now, if you are configuring coexistence, we have 2 different methods in hand. That is split delivery and dual delivery. Split delivery is you will configure 2 different set of users. Okay, let's say you want to configure a set of users, let's say 10 different users in Zoho, and the rest of the users can stay behind in the legacy server that you're using. Okay, now, when an email comes to your organization, it goes to the legacy server first. On the absence of the account, the email will be routed to Zoho. Okay, this is how split delivery works, where you have 2 different set of users configured on both the providers. Now, when do you go for this method is 1, if you want to familiarize yourself with the environment. Okay, if you want to try out the product, this could be a very good catch. Or apart from that as well, we have few other cases where coexistence actually is used. For example, for individuals that are resisting to change or reluctant to change, okay, you may face few individuals in the company or the organization who says, I've been using this platform for quite a long time, I really don't want to change. For them as well, you can leave behind those users and you can migrate the rest of the users. Next, external users. So let's say for temporary purposes, if you are configuring few users, if you are creating few accounts for temporary purposes, in that case as well, if you want to do it in a different provider, you shall use this split delivery. Purpose specific. If you want administrative users alone in a particular provider and you want those data to be in a particular server, in that case as well, you may want two different providers. So these are some of the cases I want to just bring forth for you to to explore how many ways you can choose this particular setup, that is coexistence. Next goes the dual delivery. This is the second method of coexistence. Here, how is this different from split delivery is when you configure dual delivery, the same set of users will be found on both the servers, right? So let's say you have 10 different users, then 10 different users will be found on both the servers. And how the routing takes place is the email will be brought to the legacy server. Even on the existence of the account, the routing takes place to the Zoho as well. So a copy of a mail will be found on both the servers. Okay, this is again used to familiarize yourself with the environment and to safeguard your workflow. Sometimes organizations feel that I don't want to just rely on one particular server, one particular provider. I'd rather have another set of a server as well, another provider server as well. So if there's anything that's going wrong, I might have a backup, right? And then you have to go hand in hand with migration. Now, this is quite interesting. We need to understand when migration takes place. Let's say I am conducting the migration today. Then whatever emails that were sent and received until today will start migrating. Okay, those emails which are going to be sent and received after this date will not be migrated because I initiated the migration today, right? So what about those emails? Let's say the migration is taking and is happening for a span of 5 days together. Okay, in that case, in those 5 days as well, you might receive and send emails, isn't it? You don't want to miss out on those emails as well. That's when this setup will be really useful for you, where you will configure dual delivery, saying the routing has to take place. So those emails sent and received after the setup, after the configuration, will also be received in the new server. And because of the migration setup, those emails sent and received previous to this will also be migrated. Okay, this is how the coexistence goes hand in hand with migration process. Then to have an archival server, if you want to have a backup server as well, you can use this particular dual delivery, right? So we're done with the use case. We have discussed about the same. And now I want to see an example of a customer who has experienced this particular setup. We deployed split delivery for them and we had over 80,000 licenses. And once they experimented with the product, they also migrated to Zoho and they are happy customers of us now. And here, what is the benefit that they leverage from this is they had about 60% decrease in the expense, and we provided them continuous support throughout the migration process via email, chat, and calls. And they were seeing evident results with regards to their productivity and collaboration. Now, this is the customer is IIFL Finance, who has experienced this with us. And I think this is what I wanted to show you. And coming to the support. When we talk about support, don't worry, we're not going to let you loose. At any point of time, if you need any assistance, we are here to help you. We have given you access to our detailed guides, how to videos, how to articles, webinars. All of that is available at our hand. You just have to go to our webpage where everything is available. You can reach out to us. We are 24/7 support available, and you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you with your questions. We also have a separate program, which is free migration assistance. Okay. If you would want us to help you with the migration, then you can reach out to our presales@zohomail.com. I have also posted the email ID on the screen. Please take a note of the same. Okay, you can reach out to us and we will be helping you with the migration process as well. Okay, I'm sure Chaitanya was discussing about Zoho directory, isn't it? I'm sure that we have understood that Zoho directory is the cloud-based authentication and access management. Okay, that will come really handy for you if you're going to migrate or set up coexistence, because you don't have to create your accounts from scratch in Zoho, but rather you can enable the sync between the Active Directories, that it be Entra ID or Google Active Directory. You'll be able to seamlessly sync your accounts and not just create them one by one here, right? And coming to the end of the session, we have covered whatever we wanted to cover in this entire session. And I've also posted the email IDs here for you to refer to. If you have any doubts post this session, you can contact us to support@zohomail.com if it is anything related to Zoho Mail. If it is anything related to the bundle, then you can contact support@zoho1.com. And if you require migration assistance, please contact presales@zohomail.com. We are also conducting paid trainings for the product. So if you want a complete walkthrough, then you can reach out to mailtraining@zohocorp.com. Okay, so these are the email IDs I would want all of you to take a note of, and we're also available on social handles as well. You can follow us to get the up-to-date updates. So we're wrapping up the session now, and I hope to see you all in the next session as well. Thank you so much.